Good morning. I decided to get this out a little earlier than I usually do because I got to get my butt over to the garden to prep some things this morning. We have some interesting energies today. It's like we're sitting in some kind of decision and we're measuring a lot. And it's not that we don't do that often, but it's really apparent in today's reading, particularly. We have this opening energy of the Two of Swords. Our challenge today is the Six of Pentacles. The way we're going to get through the challenge is the Six of Cups. And then the overall outcome that we have for today is the Two of Pentacles. So, what have we been sitting with? What have you been sitting with that you've been measuring and just taking in information? You know, there's this place that we're in right now that's like trying to see how we feel about things that is more from an intuitive place rather than an external place. You know, it's like if someone were to come upon your life and see that something happened or that you're going through something and they measure it, right? They say that was good or that was bad or that was, karma or whatever way people measure and evaluate our experiences. That's not the energy of this card. This isn't a person who's looking to the outside for a decision. They're not going to, their advisor or their friend or their teacher to ask them how they should respond to this situation. They're listening internally. And we can tell when we're in this place because we're in this space of turning things over and seeing how we feel about them. And it's very much something that is this relationship between our mind and how we think about things and recall situations and how that lands on our emotional body as well. Because this person is literally blinded to the outside world and just measuring things internally. So what are you intuitively trying to decide today? Now, the challenge that we have for today is the Six of Pentacles. The Six of Pentacles is someone who's also being judicious, but this person is being judicious by their way of their resources. So they're like, I have this much to work with, right? In coin, in my values, what do we put value on? And how are we deciding what we're going to give our energy and resources to? Well, we have to bring out the scales and see which of these aspects of our life need more energy, right? They need more resources. They need more time. They need more effort. But it can be challenging to figure out where to put your resources if you feel confined in some way or you feel limited in some way, especially if the outside world is telling you that you should be putting your resources towards one thing or another, right? If there's like this current in society that says this is the responsible thing to do with your resources, but it's a challenge. There's some kind of resistance. There's some lack of flow in this space in our life, which is reflective in this card showing up today. So how do we get through it? Well, it is so essential to listen to the body. What feels in the body like it's opening, like it's encouraging, like it's exciting versus something that shuts you down, something that makes you second guess yourself, something that makes you question yourself. We have this emotional intelligence, each and every one of us, and some of us it's more practiced and worked with and nurtured than others. And in society, we have, a lot kind of pressing down on us as far as what we should do or how we should respond or how we should engage in any situation and where to put our resources. And yet, really, ultimately, it comes down to where we are fed emotionally and where we feel like we can trust a situation, where we feel that there's stability in a situation. And so we can observe our body in this dynamic too. And there's this practice called somatic therapy. And you can see in a person what they're wearing on the inside by how they hold their body. So, for instance, someone who has an open heart will stand with their shoulders open and their heart forward and open. But if they've gone through trial or they feel shut down, there's this somatic quality that we start to roll our shoulders inward to protect our heart. And then the head drops, and there's this hunched posture, which is reflective of what's going on inwardly based on our external environment or, even our mental environment. And so this card is reminding us that we have to listen to our emotional intelligence, our emotional wisdom around if a situation feels welcoming, if it feels safe, if it feels natural, and if it feels like it's in flow with us. Because if you feel engaged with fear or hesitation, that is a response from your emotional intelligence. So that is a very strong tool that we have, and consider that this is a really positive card. It's the emotional wish come true. And what does that mean? What is calling us out of this space where we have felt like we've just been internally turning things over? Our ultimate outcome for the day is another number 2. So we have 2 cards that are the number 2, and we have 2 cards that are the number 6. That's interesting. We also have a lot of measuring going on today, and we can see that in the first card, which was an intuitive judiciousness, and then the challenge, which is a financial judiciousness, right? And then this ultimate outcome that we have for today is another means of balancing things. And how do we find harmony in the midst of change? Like every single moment is only there for that moment. And how do we make it as rich as it can possibly be? Because time is a fleeting thing, so how do we show up in midst of change? How do we find our balance? And this really comes down to where we are focused, right? And what we have in our life that brings us balance by way of what we value. And so here's this person who's walking on a tightrope, 2 big coins in their hands, and there's this swelling body of water behind them. And life can kind of feel like that right now. We're going into this conjunction with Neptune and Pluto. I keep saying Pluto, Neptune and Jupiter in Pisces. Pluto's going through some interesting transits too. And interestingly enough, it is actually in somewhat of a positive relationship with it because it's an earth sign. Pluto is in an earth sign. And then we have these 2 other huge planets in water signs. So there's something within this emotional opening that is going to be helping with this process of transformation that we've been going through in that space of Capricorn, wherever it's sitting in your chart. So they are intrinsically connected in what's going on in this transit right now, and so we may feel like there is like a lot of emotion. There's a lot of water, right? Much like there is behind this person in this card. And there's people out there, finding their way through that storm, right? Because calm seas do not make for skillful sailors. High tides do, and big storms do. That's the only way that someone becomes a good sailor. And here's this person in the foreground who's trying to balance everything in the midst of everything else that's going on in change. And so it calls our attention to that. Where do you find your balance? What practices do you have in that you do daily that help to bring harmony in the midst of all the change that we're going through? Does it mean starting your day with yoga or stretching or movement? Does it mean starting your day with a sitting and meditation? Does it mean starting your day with herbal tea rather than coffee, or making sure you take the time to make yourself breakfast and prepare food for yourself for the week? What brings you harmony? in the midst of change. Because that, I think, is what we are reflecting on today. I send you so much love and a good wish, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.